Hey everybody, it's Doug here. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to second episode of Zombicide. We're playing the new box White Death, and this is the starter, basically tutorial scenario. Now this isn't the only one I'm going to play. As I said in the last episode, I am going to go on to the next scenario as well to start to expose more of the rules and everything. This is pretty basic. And I thought about something. I've been so worried about this abomination that came on the board, the Obama Minotaur. I didn't go get the miniature, by the way. I'm just using the basic abomination miniature since there will only be one abomination on the board. But that said, I was really worried about this abomination, and I realized, why am I worried about that? My goal is to clear that stack and get that objective. Once I do that, we've won. So I don't have to worry about that clown. I just need to stay away from him. That said, I didn't do the cleanup, which means we would remove all noise tokens, but we didn't have any. And then we're going to move this to our character Yasuke, who is up at the top of the board there. And we're going to start our next round. So let's get going and have some fun. Zombicide. I love Zombicide. Okay, so here we go with Yasuke. Now, Yasuke's base ability is the freeze melee. That's pretty cool. And I'm wondering if I can use that ability here. So one of the things I do like about these new cards is if you look on the back, it tells you what the abilities is. So freeze melee, it says whenever you perform a melee action, place a freeze token on the target zone, whether the action succeeds or not. On the target zone. So I'm wondering, let's take a look at this ability, this freeze action. I'm going to look at this because I'm wondering if I can just freeze out that big bad guy and keep him there without having to deal with him. Freeze. Whenever the survivor performs an action of the indicated type, combat, magic, melee, place a freeze token in the targeted zone. This is a freeze token. Great. What does freeze do? So I just read what it says under freeze. But maybe there's freeze token. I'm going to look. You know, it's probably just in the rules. Just need to go back in the rules and look at it. Yeah, because this is one of the new things. The freeze tokens are new. So I'm trying to see quickly, because that's apparently not going to be the case. I'm going to have to flip through the book to find it. But when I looked it up in the index, that's what it said. Hold on just a moment. Okay, here are the rules on the freeze tokens. It says the freeze token disables zombies temporarily to skip their next activation. We can do that with the abomination. Several effects like skills or quest special rules may set a freeze token in a targeted zone. Whenever zombies would activate in a freeze token's zone, discard the freeze token instead. The zombie skips their action. You can only have one freeze token. And under the influence of a freeze token, a defiler or necromancer cannot move the zombie spawn token it came from. Okay, well that's fair. We don't have a necromancer on the board yet, but that's all right. So where is... Oh, okay, he is right here. Good, he's right next to the abomination. And I think, now he's got two Shashkas. Now he can't actually hurt the abomination, but he can freeze it and allow us to pass through without that thing chasing us. Now, the rules are the same as in the original Zombicide, where when you exit a space with a zombie, depending on how many there are, it'll cost you extra activation, so we can get out of there, but it'll just cost an extra activation. And we are absolutely going to do that at some point, but since we can sit there and keep this one at bay, I'm not too worried about it. So, first action for Yasuke is to go here. Now remember, whether we hit or succeed at a hit or not is not going to matter. So we're going to get 2 dice. We're not going to actually do any damage. I'm just going to roll because, you know, I want to roll something. We would have hit twice. That's pretty cool, but bam, bam, bounces off the thick hide, terrible armored body of the Obama Minotaur and drops a freeze token there. That was action number 2. Now, action number 3, we really can't do anything. I might be able to trade something with one of the people that are in the space who's there. Dragomir has his old bow. He can give Yasuke the old bow, who's wielding 2 Shaskas, rather. Yasuke the old bow just for the heck of it, I guess. I don't know, why not? Trade action. Can't do anything else there. Can't search there, so... and it can't move out of space because that zombie's still there, so it still take the extra activation. So there we go. That is going to be a very good turn for Yasuke, even though he didn't get to do any damage at all. Now we're going to go on to Sarnai. Sarnai is where? Oh, Sarnai's back here too. We're going to have to get through this space, I think, is going to be what's happening. Sarnai does have Power Blast. It only does 1 point of damage. And she can't see these zombies yet, so it's not very useful. There's going to be more coming out here too. But I think what we're going to do here is we're going to go 1 and then 1/2 to pass through, and that is unfortunately going to be Sarnai's turn. Now Sarnai does have the great axe, so when these big bad guys move into there, they require 2 points of damage to kill. She will be able to kill them with melee, which is great. Now we're going to our guy Ogon. Ogon does not have the ability to damage this. I mean, this is pretty rough because we can't really damage anything. All he can do there is search and see if he can get something here that can help. So we're going to do that. We're going to take a first action for Ogon, who's the tiger man right here, is going to be a search action. He doesn't have any items in his inventory that he can use anyway, so we're just going to see if we can find something useful. Hopefully it's not a zombie. Sprint. Once per turn, the target survivor may immediately perform 1 free action to use the sprint skill. Okay. I'll put that, since he's got a one-handed weapon, I'll put that in his other hand. Let's see what the sprint skill does. Like, hopefully it'll allow me to move real fast. Which is what I'm assuming it's going to do. Let's see, sprint. The survivor can use this skill once during each of their turns. Now, this is a spell, not a skill, so we can do this with no problem. They spend 1 move action and may move 2 or 3 zones instead of 1. Entering a zone containing zombies will end the survivor's action. So that doesn't help us too much in this spot. I mean, I can move here, but these guys are a problem. So, search action done. We can only do one of those. This is kind of rough. We're sandwiched between 2 beefy enemies. So, I think, unfortunately, just going to have to wait it out. I don't want to... Well, we can go in there. We're going to move into here because when they move, maybe he can spend an extra action to get into this space and take out these guys. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. He can use that sprint spell to move there and only use 1 action. That could work. Okay, well, that's going to end his action. He's going to stop there and yell at the zombies for the moment because he can't really do anything. Okay, now we're at Dragomir. Now, Dragomir has a bow that actually does 2 damage. Now, I really wanted to move him out of the space with the Abomination, but the Abomination is frozen, so the Abomination is not going to do anything. So I don't think we're going to worry too much about that. Now, with the horn bow that Dragomir has, I'll show you that. We're going to do, we can go 1 to 2 range, so we can hit the brutes, the whatever they call them in this game. I can't remember. Something big and gross. They're called brutes. They're called brutes, yeah. We can shoot into that space. We're only going to do one dice roll, but if we get a 3+, we're going to do 2 damage and kill 1. So we're going to start there. Dragomir is great with a bow. And remember, he gets +1 die range. So even though it's only 1 die, he's going to roll 2. So let's see if he can get a couple of 3s here and kill some things. He got 1, so there is one of these guys gone, down off the board. And I will bump up, I'm not going to show it to you, but I'm going to bump up his experience 1. That was action 1. Action 2. Another 1 down. Boom. We got 2 adrenaline now. I call them experience, but it's called adrenaline in the game. And third and final action is going to be another. Well, at least we're getting 1 per turn. So 3 of the 4 are gone. That is good. And that is going to be Dragomir's entire turn. Now we're going to Janai. Now Janai is green. Janai is in the space already. Has a great axe that can do 2 damage and a firebolt that can do 2 damage. So once again, we're in a scenario where this guy's not going to do anything. So again, the urgency to move out of there and waste extra actions isn't that great. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to use the firebolt. The firebolt is 0 to 2 range, so we can even use it in our space. Roll 1 die, I need a 4+, but we do 2 damage. I only need to hit once, and then we can. If we do it on the first turn, I can move out of there and get going. So she lobs a firebolt off the spell scroll that she has and rolls a 6. Boom! The last of the big guys is gone. She will take her next 2 actions, because even though he's frozen, he still counts. So 1, 2 to get out of that space and move into here. That was a great turn for Janai. And then last but not least, we have Lornai, who is here. Lornai has a lot of stuff, but nothing too useful at the moment for this purpose. Gets a free move action. So we'll use a free move action to move here. We'll use her first action to move here. Her next 2 actions to move it here. Now they're all right there and ready to go. And that's going to end the round for us. So now we're going to move on. Now, did I create noise? I think I did. Yes, the firebolt created noise, which isn't that big of a deal because everybody can see everybody. So I do need to keep track of that. So the firebolt was fired by Janai, who's right here. The bow did not create any noise, so we just got, basically, the noise marker means that if zombies had to choose targets, it would be based on a combination of people, people in the space and noise. So right now, this is 3, this would be 4, just for example. Okay, now let's move on to the rest of the zombies phase. Okay, we're going to activate the zombies that are on the board. There's only 1, and there's 2, but here's what's going to happen. So these walkers are going to activate. They're going to move into here. And the abomination would activate, but we're just going to remove this. And that's it. That's the entire turn. So again, this is a very simple scenario. Now I do have to plow through these guys to get to here and start to loot that space right there. But in the meantime, we're going to get our big zombie deck out, hopefully. We don't draw anything too terrible. We're going to start with spawn space, spawn location 1, and we're going to draw our first zombie card. Now, I'm still shuffling these because there's a big deck, and I don't remember how well I shuffled it. So, Zombie Siege, spawn 1 walker on each corruption zone. That's not a crisis at all. Let me get to my zombies out here. Put my dice bolt back where I had it. Okay. And then we're going to get some more walkers out. Let's see. We've got 1 walker in each zone, it says. Boom. And then we're going to have, I think, an activation, right? Oh, zombies may perform 1 move or climb action. So they're going to move. So we got 1 here, 1 here. That's what happened with this activation. And then this zombie will move to here, and this one will move to here. So that's a pretty big bunch, but that's all that's going to happen there. Then we're going to move on to zone 2. And let me just clarify that. That's the first time I've seen that Zombie Siege card. Zombies may perform 1 move action to climb on a battlement. So I don't think it says to climb on a battlement. I don't think that's the case. So I think they're going to stay where they're at. They're just going to spawn. Tell me if I'm wrong on that, but that's the way it reads. And then we're going to get some runners coming out in 2. That's okay for now because they're not going to move. But here are some runners. Now there's going to be a whopping 4 of them there. So 4 and a walker. Now the thing with runners is they get 2 activations. Now the reason they're called runners is oftentimes that's related to a move. But if they get to move 1 into a space, they will get to attack. So that space just became very dangerous to us. We're going to have to solve it. All right, which we can. I'm not too worked up about that. I think, though, yeah, I think we're going to then wrap up our turn. That is going to be the full turn for the zombie. We're going to end phase. We're going to move all noise tokens. So this noise token here is gone. And we're going to pass the first turn marker from Yasuke over to Sarnai. And Sarnai is, of course, here. So now I could have Sarnai go and just start wailing on... No, we'll see. We'll see how this goes. I definitely want to keep Yasuke in there. Yasuke is going to be Abomination deterrent by freezing the Abomination every time it comes into the... every time he attacks. Well, he's going to be the last person to go on this turn. So we got... first off, we got Sarnai. Now, Sarnai has that Power Blast. I'm not too worked up about that. I like the Great Axe better because the Great Axe rolls 4 dice, as you can see. 4 dice. And you know what? I held on to this, but she might as well drink it. Discard this to gain 3 adrenaline points, maybe used from the backpack. So we're going to discard that and use that item to gain her 3, that's Sarnai, 3 adrenaline points. I don't even know if we're going to hit the next level with these characters in this scenario. We'll see. And then for her first action, she is going to move to here, and then she's going to swing that big old axe around. It rolls 4 dice. It needs a 5 plus, does 2 damage. The 2 damage itself doesn't matter that much because these guys only take 1 damage. But she's going to swing it. Look at that. 3 hits. Boom, boom, boom. These guys are gone. And she goes 1, 2, and 3. She's right at the cusp of gaining a level or going up to the next level. So I think we're going to roll again. Might as well kill that guy off. Boom, of course she does. Boom. And that puts her at the next level. That means our spawns are going to be more aggressive and worse. But let's take a look real quick. You can see her up here. She has now 7, so she's going to get her yellow ability, which is +1 action. That's awesome. It's going to give us another action. She is going to take that. Or she can take +1 free combat action. Why would you do... No, that's red. Sorry, that's later on. Never mind. We're going to go there and take that. And then, now she has a free action. She gets to use that right now. She's not going to move into the space. That's kind of silly. She'll just move right there because our objective is there. Okay, next we got Odon. Odon is going to... He's got a lance. Now, here's one of the cool things about the lance, is it can attack in an adjacent space. So he's going to move here, and he'll attack this zombie first. Why not? Get rid of it. It's just a walker. A lance just does 1 die, needs 3+, and does 1 damage. Does it. So this guy is gone. Odon gets an experience points. Odon or adrenaline point rather. Odon is at 6, so 1 more, and we're going to level him up. And then for his, that was 1 to move, 1 action here, 1 more action to go there. We're going to go clear those search places out and win the game. That's what we're heading towards. Okay, next up, Dragomir with his bow. He's right here. You know, the bow is 1 to 2 spaces, so he's going to fire into here and start taking out these walkers. Remember, he gets 2 dice per shot because of his ranged +1 ranged die attack. So he's going to get 2 dice to fire into there. And I think that now there's targeting priorities, right? So we're going to target the walkers before the runners. So there's 1 walker there. We're going to have to kill that one first. Let's see if we can. We did. Boom. Dragomir gets another adrenaline point, up to 4. Now we're going to start going at the walkers. Let's see here. We got 4 walkers, but we're not going to get them all. We got 1 of them. Seems to be on a 1 train. That gives us another adrenaline point. Walkers are not worth any more experience. That was action 2. Action 3, missed. Wow, that's bad. Missed with the bow. Okay, not great, Dragomir. Okay, next up we have Janai, who is where? Janai is here in this space. I think that's Janai. Yeah, no, green. This is Janai right here. Firebolt's not going to matter. Okay, Janai has the double search thing. So I know what we're doing with her. She's going 1, 2, and 3 into the space. That's that. Okay. And that's her turn. And then Lornai is where? Here. Lornai will step 1 into here and take a... Wait. Before we do that, Lornai has a crossbow. Let's see. Before we do that, I can't shoot. No, I can't. It's not going to do any good. Never mind. She'll go here. She'll perform a search action, which is going to be... or get... Oh, Dragon Ball! And she has a torch. We can kill the Abomination. Maybe we'll do that just for fun. She got Dragon Ball. Now what Dragon Ball does is when you combine it with... You throw it, you combine it with a torch, boom, things get really ugly and things die. It's super cool. Okay. And then for her 3rd action, I think, since we can, in fact, try and kill the Abomination, she'll step out. Now I have 1 person left to go, one of the most important ones. That's going to be Yasuke. Yasuke has no range attack. I mean, we're going to suffer 3 enemies coming into our space and attacking us. So we're going to take a little bit of damage. The runners do 1 point of damage each, and there's 3 of them there. And if I move, yeah, it's just going to be the way it is. We're not going to lose anybody. It's going to be okay. We got 2. We can spread the wealth. There's 2 people there. Okay, we're going to attack the Abomination. 2 and 2. That is a miss. It doesn't really matter. We still drop the freeze token down. Man, I wish I could get an extra. Well, let's take a look. What has he got? He just has the 2 blades, and he gets the freeze melee. That's his ability. So, I don't... The only thing we could do is move out of there, but if we do that, we leave Dragomir vulnerable, and these guys would kill him. So we need to spread the damage out just a little bit. So I think that's going to... I have no range. If I move into here, they'll all attack him, and I can't kill him. Wait, I can freeze him, right? It's everybody in the zone, I think. It's not once per turn. Let me look at the freeze thing again. No, because it's going to take me 2 actions just to move there, so that is not going to work. I would need an extra action, so never mind that. We're going to have to do this the way it suggests. But if they move into there, do they lose their activation? Because they've got 2 activations, right? They're going to move into a freeze zone. I'm going to have to look that up again. This is going to... See, look, it's getting crazy on me already. A zone may only contain a single freeze. A freeze zone token is removed whenever there are no zombies in its zone. Under the influence of a freeze token, a defiler, necromancer. Okay, several game effects act. Whenever zombies would activate in a freeze zone, discard the freeze zone instead. Skip the entire activation, even if they have several activations like runners. that means he's going to get to go. That's 2 damage versus 3 damage. Because what's going to happen is they're going to move. They would take their next action, and then the freeze token is going to trigger. And if you go by priority, I think it'll take. Oh, either way, we're going to take 1 to 3 damage. I need to think about how that's going to play out, but we're there now, so I got to think about it. The question is, do I do anything else? I can't really do anything else with him. I mean, I could swap, equip the bow, and shoot once and try and kill one of the zombies. I could do that because I do have this short bow. It would kill one of the runners if I hit. It's only got 1 die, and I'd be down 1 blade. Where if they come into there, I can. No, we're gonna leave it alone. I think that's where we're gonna end Yasuke's activation, and now we're gonna get on to the zombies. Now I don't have any. Well, I don't remember what I was going to say. Oh, noise tokens. I'm not worried about that. Okay, so here we go. I think who would activate first in order? If you do targeting priority, how does that work? I think we go 1, 2, and this one, I don't know if the abomination would go first or last. It matters because it matters between 2 and 3 damage. But I do think that normally runners are faster, right? So I'm going to say that these guys are going to activate first. They're going to come in here and they're going to bam this. Okay, they're going to take that out. And then that's that. Now these guys are not going to be able to get out of there, but I think we're going to blast the heck out of this place in a minute. I can get in there and do damage and stuff, so it's okay. We're going to be okay. Then since that happened and they lost their second activation, I assume that he will activate and do 2 points of damage. He's going to do that to Dragomir because Dragomir is going to leave this zone. So our archer Dragomir boldly steps in front of the blow of the big bad guy here. I don't have anything that heals, so that's that. But he'll get to step out and at least take a shot, and then we can blast that region. With the Dragon Bile, hopefully next turn. Maybe we'll get to show that off. I don't know. We'll see. What's the range on the torch and the Dragon Bile? Spend a ranged action and discard with a torch to resolve. We can just duck out of there and see what happens. Lorne is still going to go. Oh wait, they're going to. That's bad. I think this does damage to everything in the space, right? And with a torch, resolve a dragon fire at range 1. Okay. Yeah. Okay, we'll see. We'll see how this plays out. We may not kill him this turn. I'm not that worried about killing him, actually. It's not the objective. All right. That marks the end of that. So now we got to do some spawning. This could change our game plan a bit. We haven't had a Necromancer come out, so that's good. And we're getting a Zombie Siege. So I think, again, I just think we're placing 2 zombies out. This Zombie Siege card comes up a lot. That's weird. Okay. And then on Zone 2, we're going to have a extra activation, and since we are here, it's all. Oh no! Oh, we just lost. Unbelievable. I'll show you why. This sucks. All walkers. These aren't walkers. Okay. Whoo. Okay. All walkers get an extra activation. That means this guy is going to move out to here, and this guy's going to move to here. But that's all that's going to happen. I thought it was all spawned or activated, so that's that. And then last but not least, we're going to move this marker over to Ogon, who is way down here, and we're going to start our next round. Okay, not too bad. We're still living. Though now Yasuke is in a bit of trouble. I think we're gonna have to hit and run, baby. Okay, and unfortunately, I don't think we're gonna get to use that. Dragon Bile and torch this turn. We'll see. Okay, well, let's get started. We'll go the next round. So Ogon's going to go first. Ogon is here. Ogon does not have. He has the sprint spell, so he could go 1, 2, and then attack with his lance. So I think that's first action. Going to activate the sprint spell. We're going to move 2, 1, 2 to there, and then we're in range to attack with the lance. And the lance does 1 die. It needs a 5 to hit. Or sorry. Yeah, a 3 to hit, rather. And does 1 point of damage. So on the list of targeting priorities, it will be... Well, we're melee, so it doesn't matter. We can attack wherever we want. We'll attack a runner. 1 misses, and that is second action. So third action, a 1. Wow. So just went up and poke and missed. That's not what I was expecting to happen there. So now we're Dragomir. Dragomir is going to spend 2 actions. Wait, is it just 2 or is it 1 per zombie? He may not be able to move. Ooh, and he only has a bow. Oh, that's rough. I gotta look that up. Yeah, it's 1 additional activation point per zombie. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, he's not going anywhere, and he has a ranged weapon that requires a 1 to 2 space. So he's going to be brave. He's going to turn around and attack this guy. He's hoping people are going to come save him. This is bad. Okay, we're going to attack that guy there with his bow. Remember, he gets 2 dice to shoot. And yes, he kills the walker that's there. That's great. That puts him at a 6. Unfortunately, his next 2 actions are invalid. He literally cannot do anything. Except for maybe, no, he can't do anything. There's no point in trading a blade with Yasuke. So that's going to be the end of his turn, unfortunately. Now we're going to move on to Janai. Janai is here, and remember, Janai gets to pick up 2 items and search. That's her special ability, is search 2 cards. A torch and a brute appears in her space. That's not great, but that's okay because she's pretty tough. And she'll be able to kill a brute with no problem. That was just action number 1, by the way, so she still has actions. She will then attack the brute with her great axe, because she has a great axe. Or does she? Yes, she does. So 4 dice. Man, that great axe is incredible. 4 dice does 2 damage. Boom, it is dead. So she gets another experience. That was, amazingly, only her second adrenaline point of the game. Alright, that is Janai. That was her second action. So for her third action, she might as well just stay there and do nothing. Her firebolt spell could reach into here, but there's no point. Because if she moves, she won't be able to do it. She won't get the action. So now we're going to Lornai. Now Lornai would be able to do the Dragon Ball, but I think we just need to clear this space out. She's got the crossbow along with her lance. She's going to stay right where she is. Now, I would love to clear that zone out faster, but we're just not going to be able to do it. We got to deal with stuff here and try and save our characters because they're going to die. So it rolls 2 dice, needs a 4 to hit, but does 2 damage. Not that that matters. Since it's ranged, our first target will be a walker. Are you kidding me? So first action, 2 1s. Okay, and then we got 1 hit. The walker's finally gone. That's action 2. Action 3. 2 hits. 2 of the runners are gone. That's going to be 3 experience points. 3 adrenaline points. I got to say that right. For Lornai, that puts her up to 3. That's good. And that is the end of her action. She just sit there and shot away. Okay, now we're at we're at Yusuke. He's going to do his thing, except I don't think he's going to attack this guy, actually, with his blades. He gets to roll 2 dice. Now, the reason I'm doing that is because it'll put the free zone in there and it'll be gone if I kill it. So hopefully rolls a 5. Okay, it is gone. That gives him, by the way, his first experience point because he was just sitting there whacking on the bad guy. So now that guy's frozen. We solved this problem. Yay. Okay. And then we go to Sarnai. Sarnai is this person here. Can't really do anything. I think we've got to move to help. We're going to move to help Spellcaster. What does Spellcaster do? I don't remember. I think it just gives us an extra. Spellcaster, you have 1 free action that you may use a spell on. Okay. Well, we can't really do anything with spells right now, so she's just going to go 1, 2, and 3 to here to help with the search next round. And that's it. That's the round. And we're going to end with our zombie phase. So we're going to activate zombies. Boosh. This guy doesn't do anything. Good tactic there. Then we're going to draw some more zombies. This turned out to be a little more hairy than I thought. I thought this was going to be a cakewalk, and it is. We're not going to lose anybody. It was planned out. Let's see what we get, though. The Abomination gets to activate because there's only 1 Abomination ever. So he activates. He's going to smack Yusuke for 2. That means both of them could potentially die if we don't do something. But that was the spawn for active space 1. So space 2, seriously? Okay, can we lose anybody in this? Does everybody have to live through this scenario? Because I would hate to lose the tutorial scenario because we kept activating an Abomination over and over and over again. Let's just take a look. Did I just lose the tutorial scenario? Are you serious? Let's see. No, I don't think so. It just says, it doesn't say, so objectives, normally it'll say everybody has to be alive or something, right? It does not say that. It says the quest is completed successfully and both objectives are taken. So we're going to have somebody die. As crazy as that is. And I guess, unfortunately, it's going to be Dragomir. Dragomir is kaput. The abomination smashes Dragomir into the ground. Oh, Dragomir, come back. We'll save him next time. He's just injured. He'll live. He'll live. But no more spawns, so we're just going to search and get the heck out of here. So I might as well wrap it up, right? So we're going to go on to the next turn. We're going to move the token, not to Dragomir, but to Janai. Janai is, of course, already here. She's got 2 searches, so we're going to search both of these. And we get a Gusamar, that's pretty good. Range 1, 2 dice. This is a better version of the Lance, it looks like. So she'll just put that in her back. Oh, runner! A runner appears there. That was action number 1, so we're going to kill the heck out of that runner. She's going to put this in her backpack with her torch. And then the runner spawns, and we are going to attack it with as our second action. We're going to attack with this. Boom. It is dead. Killed the runner. She gets another experience points. Adrenaline points. She's up to 3. Then for her last action, she'll move out to here. Then we go with Lornai. Lornai is yellow. Lornai's right here. She's going to move here. Pick up the objective. Boom. We have won. There we go. And I actually lost a character in the tutorial scenario. That was really interesting. Anyway, that maybe this game's a little more challenging than this, because I got to the point with the old Zombicide games where I didn't feel very challenged unless I took less characters into it or something on a big scenario. But anyway, that is scenario 1 down, the tutorial scenario. We're going to then move on to the next one. But right now we cleared the board of our objectives, and we're going to move on to the second scenario in the next video, not in this one, obviously. That next one will be, let's see, I think it's called, it's still a basic one. It's this new one is actually quest number 1. It's called Sound the Alarm. It's a bit bigger. We're going to have fun with that. We're going to get to play with walls and all kinds of stuff. So fun times had by all. Anyway, talk to you in the next episode, y'all. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Please tell your friends about the channel. Like I said in my last video about doing this for a full decade, I'm getting kind of burned out because I have some things that are actually getting more attention, and I don't want money or fame or fortune from or whatever, but I do want to know that people are interested. And there was a number of people who went on the comments and said please keep doing it, and I appreciate that, and I obviously am continuing to do it. But you know, I just need that morale boost by getting some people, new fresh blood coming in, knocking on the door, saying hi, and watching some videos. So thanks, talk to you soon, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.